Okay, so film number two in the crappy Christmas film challenge was The Christmas Dragon, a 2014 film. Currently has 4.7 on IMDb. And yeah, this was a tougher watch. This was more difficult. It's a PG fantasy drama, kind of adventure film, and yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with this movie. Not least of all, over promising the fact that it's a Christmas film. To be honest, it's only the last 20 minutes that's actually got anything really to do with Christmas, and the majority of it is kind of more like Aragon or even like Lord of the Rings, but I don't want to use those in the same kind of sentence. It's kind of like this sort of medieval fantasy film. So the plot is a girl called Aiden or Hayden, I can't remember. She loses her parents early on to a dragon and becomes an orphan. And later on in the film, we jump ahead sort of 6 years. She becomes this kind of sort of warrior almost. That she escapes from the orphanage and goes on a sort of an adventure with some of the other people that are in the orphanage with her. She comes across, let me just move myself, this lovely feature. And this guy is an elf who sort of is on a quest to try and hand over an orb to find the magic to save Christmas. If you think my synopsis is a little bit lacking, it's because I can't really keep up with this film. It had so many sort of threads that they were trying to pull together, and it just didn't work. They just tried to do so much with so little time, and yeah. So this guy gives the girl this orb, and she then follows the light and tries to save Christmas because Santa is at the North Pole and he's dying or something. And then there's dragons as well, I think. This She meets this guy along the way, and he's kind of sort of quite funny and has a decent sort of injects quite a good amount of humor. Also, a bit more acting chops, if I'm honest, because a lot of the other cast members are quite young. So it was quite unbearable at times. It's almost like watching a kids' production of like some school play. Um, that really, I think they needed an older cast to try and pull this off. But yeah, it gets a bit lighter. Oh, sorry, not it gets less light actually towards the end. But for the majority of it, it's just an adventure film. Them going through the woods and the forests, getting in trouble, on a boat on a lake, and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, these are the sort of characters that you're dealing with. As you can tell from the costume and the set design, it's very heavy fantasy related. It was quite ridiculous, the CG of the dragons. That's actually worth watching. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to have a quick check it out. The dragons are particularly terrible, really bad. It looked like it had been done sort of about 20 years ago on clip art. So yeah, to have tried to do so much in this film was overly ambitious, to be nice about it. And it won't make anyone's top Christmas lists, not least because it's not really a Christmas film. And I think for them to have dressed up the poster as much as they have done, um, to have had snow and Christmas lights and all this sort of stuff. I mean, you look at these dragons in the background, this is pretty much what we're dealing with most of the time. But it's not this. It's more of a fantasy film. As I say, it's more along the lines of Aragon and Lord of the Rings. To be honest, I think if you put this on for even for kids, they're going to be really disappointed because even the dragons don't really hang around that long. I mean, presumably their computers ran out of graphics because they're just so good. But yeah, this was this was a disappointment. But I've seen it, and thank you so much to everyone who's donated so far. I know that everyone's digging deep this time of year, and it really, really does help. The money's going to Crisis to help end homelessness. I believe I'm almost on the cusp of another film, so hopefully you'll be seeing me again soon. But thank you again to everyone who's donated or shared or even just watched the videos. I'll be posting the link wherever I can. So anyway, Merry Christmas and yeah, cheers to CGI Dragons.